Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled people. In today's episode, I really pity this young woman. Friend is upset at me for getting a dog without her approval. My sister thinks it's okay to use my money without paying me back. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I really pity this young woman. Just a quick post about something that just happened. I was sitting in my office at the university where I teach and had a knock on the door. One of my second-year students came in, and an older person I found out was her father followed her in. I had barely finished asking then how I could help when Dad opened up with, "It's not acceptable that my daughter got such a low score in her last assignment. I want you to change the marks." The poor student looked so embarrassed as her dad went on. The classic, "We've paid good money to get on this course, so I expect better marks. I've paid cash for this, she won't have a student loan to pay off at the end." I let him continue ranting and eventually got to respond. I simply asked the student if she had read the feedback I provided on the assignment. She said she had. I asked if she felt it was a fair reflection of the work she submitted, and again, she said it did. I then suggested that she needed to put more effort into revising for the examinations coming up in a few weeks, and that overall, while it was a summative assessment, it was not going to prevent her passing the end-of-year assessment. I then told the dad, "I'm paid to provide realistic feedback on her work. The fact he paid cash for her tuition does not mean she gets good marks without her submitting work that merits good marks." We hear this argument so often now in universities. I know tuition is expensive, but you don't pay for the grade you get, you have to work for it. Simply being wealthy doesn't mean your kids are entitled to a free pass in education. At least she seems reasonable and smart enough to be embarrassed by Dad. There is hope. When I was lecturing in the US, I got this warm and fuzzy feeling being protected by the feds. FERPA says I can't talk to you is such a wonderful sentence. There were no landing pads for helicopter parents where I used to work. There were no landing pads for helicopter parents where I used to work. This gave me the giggles. I love it. Those parents are paying for access, not results. My son says one of his classmates and his mother went in to see one of his teachers. Before she even started her rant, he said, "This is college and mommy can't help you. She can leave the room and I'll speak with you. Otherwise, you can both get out of my office." Mom said she complained to the school admin and he laughed. He said, "I have tenure and admin will praise me for this. If you don't like the way we do things, your child is free to enroll at another college. Now get out of my office or I will call security." She left and he spoke with the student who was very embarrassed. These parents think they're doing what's best for their child, but really they're booking a one-way ticket to a nursing home. Friend is upset at me for getting a dog without her approval. I'm still figuring out what is normal. Also, this friendship didn't start out like this, and I guess I was still holding on to the positive aspects I didn't realize are no longer here. Thank you for all the eye-opening comments. I think this story fits in here. If not, my apologies. This happened very recently and I am honestly unsure of how to handle it. I can't even believe this is an issue to begin with, so this may be a bit of a rant. So I, 28M, have a friend who is in her 50s. We are close friends, the kind where you don't talk often, but when you do, it's always really good. We mainly talk about our pets and she's been there for me a lot. I value her and our friendship. I really, really do. There's only one issue. You see, one does not disagree with her. She has very strong opinions and will shove them down everyone's throat. She's notorious in all pet stores and for all the wrong reasons. I am not too bothered by it. I just know when to shut my mouth and agree. Arguing is not worth it, and I find our friendship more important than being right about something. Edit. It was brought to my attention that this kinda comes off as me condoning this behavior. What I meant is that I wasn't too bothered with how she treated me, not how she treated others. With how our friendship was, I didn't really get to see her treat others this way. I was told stories, but she always made it sound like they provoked it and I believed it. That's why it didn't bother me. Only when writing this post I started to connect the dots. It has never been a problem. Until now. When I brought up wanting a Doberman, she was rather judgmental, saying that I am too insecure to raise a dog and that a dog wouldn't solve my mental problems. I found her assumptions hurtful and untrue, even if she probably meant well. Obviously, a dog won't make my mental illness go away, but I think taking care of a dog and having a companion has been helpful for a lot of people, especially with mental illness. It just so happens that a Doberman is exactly what I want, as they fit my lifestyle. I am also not as spineless or insecure as she made me out to be. It's just that I don't argue with her because I know she would end our whole friendship over me not agreeing on something. I don't waste my energy on an argument that won't lead anywhere. So I just didn't mention it again, and I wasn't super upset. I just decided not to talk to her about it. A few weeks later, I sent a video of a puppy I have my eyes on. I hoped that maybe she'd be happy for me now. Somehow I thought she would be. Instead, she sent me a voice message demanding I tell her which exact reasons I have to get a Doberman. It made me feel like I had to justify my decision to her, like I need her permission. Me having this dog won't affect her, so I find this weird and honestly kind of entitled. Also, I knew she'd just disagree with all my reasons. So I politely said that I know she doesn't think that I am the right person for this, but that I disagree and I have done a lot of research, which I definitely have. I have considered this for literal years, although I didn't talk to her about that until I previously mentioned the dog. I just didn't see a reason to, and I still don't. Like I said, it doesn't affect her, and it's not like we talk a lot, nor do we talk about everything. I told her she has nothing to worry about, and that the decision wasn't impulsive. She was immediately upset. She said I was very defensive, even though I acted calm and polite. However, I simply didn't agree, and I didn't want to justify my decision. This is probably the first time I said no to her. She started going off about how dangerous this dog is, that it's not the right breed for me, that she knows a lot more about this than me, and that I should be able to explain why I want one, especially to her. Now, she does know a lot about animals, but judging by what she said about the breed, she doesn't know as much as she claims. They were very outdated views, and some of the facts were just wrong. She said that I only want this dog to have as a shield, and that I am going to end up with a weapon I can't control, etc. I said multiple times that I understand and respect her opinion and that I was sorry for upsetting her, but that I don't agree and didn't like her initial question. According to her, I turned her into someone she's not, and I was extremely defensive. Again, I was very calm and never accusatory, while she sent me long voice messages in which she was yelling and crying. It seems everything I said just made her more angry. She ended by saying I've insulted her and that I should know what that feels like. I said I was sorry about that and that I hope we can talk about this when we're both calm. I am extremely confused about what I did wrong, and I am honestly kind of angry because I feel like she's simply mad at me for not agreeing with her. She knows as well as I do that I will put all of my time and energy into this dog, that I am someone who will make well-informed decisions and won't hesitate to ask a professional dog trainer for guidance. And even if we are close, we are not so close that I need to involve her into a decision like this, but it seems she thinks I can't do this without her approval. Anyway, I haven't heard from her since, and I suspect she expects me to apologize. I'm not sure what to do, except wait until she calms down and then starts talking to me again like nothing happened. I might have to rethink this friendship. I was very calm and never accusatory, while she sent me long voice messages in which she was yelling and crying. Sounds like she has a problem with people having other opinions than her. I had a friend like that. Yeah, I got that feeling too. And I am not the only person who knows her that suspects that this is the case. That lady is a nutcase. Why exactly are you friends with this woman? She's not a nice person. I suppose because the positives are extremely positive, so I just keep my distance enough where I only have to deal with the positives. Guess that didn't work out, haha. You need to remove this woman from your life. She's crazy. That is completely bizarre. Of course, having a pet is good for mental health. And what does being insecure have with owning a dog? It sounds like simple breed prejudice, I guess. Whatever. My sister thinks it's okay to use my money without paying me back. I'm almost in tears as I'm writing this because I'm so infuriated. My sister, 34, works full-time but has always been irresponsible about money. She has a lot of credit card debt, and there has been several times throughout the year that she has either asked me to borrow money or gone into debt. My mom passed away 3 years ago, and Mother's Day is a very difficult holiday. My dad is elderly, and the last year I was living with him, helping him full-time because he has health issues and otherwise would have to get a caregiver. Prior to that, I had given up my apartment and my job to move in with him as a temporary thing to help out. My dad paid me each month to help him, but nowhere near the amount of money that it would be to hire a professional caregiver. However, he wanted me to be able to get my independence back and be able to get a job again outside of him. So he helped me financially with getting an apartment last month because I've been helping him, which I much appreciated. I still am going over there and helping him several times a week with all of his meal prep, medical appointments, etc. because I am job searching now though. When I do get a job, obviously things will shift and he will need to get someone coming in to help. Because Mother's Day is a difficult day after the loss of my mom, my sister had suggested that just the two of us go out today to brunch and a movie. She had found a restaurant and pre-booked the movie tickets, which I paid her for. When we were at lunch, I asked the waiter to put it on separate checks. He ended up putting some of her items on mine because I think he was just confused of how to do it, and I said that's fine and just told her to send me through a cash app like Venmo the money. She kind of brushed it off and just told me she can't right now. I said I'm confused. If he had put the items on your check, you would be paying for it. And she said I asked Dad if I can use his card and pay him back. I can't pay you right now. I was getting increasingly annoyed about this because she knows I am living on a certain budget per month, a pretty low budget that my dad pays me in turn for helping him full-time. She then proceeded to tell me that it's not my money anyway. She said, Dad is paying for your whole life. It's not your money. I was sickened by this comment because I help him full-time and get payment in return. I don't ask her for any help and she only helps him once in a while. She also has taken money in previous months out of my dad's account. There's a mutual account that's supposed to be used when we buy items for him, and has said it was by accident, and told him that she would pay him back and still hasn't several times. Because she was going after me in terms of saying that it's not my money anyway, I said at least I don't steal from him. I clarified that there was a charge last month for $300 that clearly he knows was taken from him. She started to get rude in response and say that it was by accident and she didn't steal it. We left the restaurant and she didn't say a word to me. She headed towards the car instead of the movie theater. I told her if we are not going to the movie, I expect my money back since I already paid her for it. She ignored me and didn't say a word. We get back and she drops me at my car. I told her that I expect to be paid back and I'm not going to forget about it. She ignored me and didn't say anything. I'm beyond upset right now. Already it is a difficult day with the loss of my mom, but the fact that I basically fronted money for her and I feel as though she has no intention to pay me back, and she dismissed that it's even my money in the first place is infuriating. My dad has enabled her a lot, and I have tried to warn him that this continues to happen and it's enabling. He's worried about getting on the out with her, so he gives her money when she needs it and doesn't ask questions. However, with me, if she had asked me in advance and said that she doesn't have money to go out today, but if I could pay for it and she paid me back, I would have said yes. It's more the assumption that's getting me. Tell your dad to close the card and that he can send money if y'all gonna buy him something. Does she buy him stuff regularly? Does she actually need a card to buy him stuff? And I think you should set boundaries with her more. I've tried to tell him he should close the account and what's happening, and he says he doesn't want to rock the boat with her, so he doesn't want to. Even though he knows that she is taking money out of it, but I don't think he knows the extent always. Thank you for the advice. That account she's drawing from either needs to be closed or add a signer for approval. Write off any money that she owes you, and never allow yourself to get in this position with her again. I would ask Dad to close the account so she doesn't take any more. Also, I would just write off any money she owes you. Keep taking care of dad and don't let her put you in a situation like that again. I have a brother like this. I started sending him cards for his birthday and Christmas with a $25 reduction certificate for all the times he hasn't paid me back when he said he would. Took him a couple of years, but he finally paid me back the remainder, and now he gets regular presents like the rest of my family. But I still refuse to lend him money more. Maybe I'm petty, but it did eventually work. She is going to steal more and more money unless you stop this now. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.